The wine's
Hello.
kicked in.
The wine has kicked in. Welcome back to It's Cool Us Too. This is the podcast where we chat to women in their 30s about designing their dream life in whatever way that means to them, whatever journey that means. Hi, Coley.
Amen, girl.
Amen. If you are a newbie, welcome. If you are not a newbie, thanks for coming back. Please like, subscribe, follow us on all the socials. We're kind of blowing up right now on Instagram.
We are. It's honestly,
blowing up is relative, but blowing up for us.
And like it's all like it's not even just like people like views. It's like it's views. It's like engagement. It's new follows, new people into our little community, and it's kind of nice. And also, I feel like I have to wear my glasses and be like, oh my god, do they know who I am? One of my staff actually came in to my office today and goes, so your friend Kasha scares the shit out of me. And I was like, pardon? I think you've muted your mic, by the way.
I muted my mic, which is too bad because that was a great laugh.
Yeah. But he goes, your friend Kasha scares the shit out of me. And I was like, why? And he's like, I don't vibe with people that have that much confidence and like lack of fear.
Honestly, she's a legend.
She is a legend. She commented on our thing, so she's there if you want us and ask her for her services in our Instagram.
If anyone isn't listening to if anyone's not on our Instagram,
well, honestly, screw you.
How dare you?
Follow us and see. But
Nicole shared, well, you would have heard it in the last episode, but Nicole shared a meet cute, like an IRL dating story,
which was lovely.
People love it.
I do have an update because the people are asking for it. It was an instance of the meet cute was better than the date, and I think I kind of knew going into the date we probably just weren't super aligned. He very different life stages, if you will. He was a little bit older than I was than I've ever dated before. Which is fine, but it really kind of led down to we're not in the same place, I think.
Yeah, like that difference in age actually wasn't really about the age. It was like you're just in very different stages.
Very different places.
Yeah.
Lovely man. So sweet. Kind of looked like John Krasinski, so like didn't hate that.
Love that.
And like I have nothing but like lovely things to say about him, but I think I just like knew on the date. And like one negative point about him is we ordered our Ubers and like I ordered mine significantly ahead of his. I think he deliberately stayed back, but his ended up weirdly coming first. And so he kind of just like left me on a snowbank. And I was just like there, I was like, okay, bye. And there's this like group of college girls beside me. And like, I'm just sitting there like, do. And they go, first date? I said, yeah. I said, and I said, nah. And they're like, yeah, we figured. It was a very like humbling experience. But I will say, I think it took a little bit of the edge off. And to what so many people in our comments are saying, having a friend who is willing to do that, like that is, if you are coupled, partnered, even if you're single but you're not looking and you're wondering how to support your single friends, that is, albeit an extreme, but great way to support them in finding their partner, because it's honestly really challenging to date. It feels like everything's a bit of a compromise. It feels like everyone has endless choices, so they're not really willing to commit.
Yeah.
And so I think if you're able to be a friend to your friends by doing something similar, it really does go a long way. And I think that is why that clip in particular is doing so well right now. But
I mean, I agree. I was actually reflecting on that because it's really exciting for us, not because we're obsessed with follower count and views, but because it means that what we're talking about resonates. And so being able to see all of these women jump into the comment section and be like, I want a friend who does that. And like,
Be like, can I hire her?
Yeah. Seeing people get excited about something we're talking about shows like we're talking about the right shit. So it just, that made me so happy to see.
Yeah. And I feel like even, again, if there's anything I'm really proud of myself as it relates to dating in the last like year, I feel like my rebound rate is really good. Yeah, I'm rebounding faster from stuff that's not for me. And even still, I've got really great experiences right now as it relates to dating. And I have there's potential on the horizon, although I didn't get wing womaned into it. And it is very new. But still some fun things there, which is we like to see.
Yeah. And you were saying a few episodes ago, you were saying that you wanted to be less of like a chill girl and sort of take back some element of control. And I think that you've done a really good job of that in the last few weeks of being like, this is one facet of my life. I'm going to put myself out there, but it's not the be all and end all. And I'm proud of you. That's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's been good in that sense. And I feel like I was saying, I was at brunch and talking to some of my girlfriends about stuff in my life in general, which I'll kind of talk about in a second. But I was like, I just feel like I'm less emotional about dating right now. Like I feel like I'm very clear on where I want to go and what I want and what's important to me. And the stuff that would have been like, ooh, shiny object syndrome previously, that all women are susceptible to. It's not catching me in the same way right now. And I feel just very attuned and aligned. This could change in a given week, depending on where I'm at in my cycle. Are you getting all those things being like, you thought women drunk texting you was bad? Women ovulation texting you?
Yeah. Well, you've been sharing them with me.
Crazy. Because I also feel like the decisions I make when I'm ovulating relative to when I'm like in my luteal phase or like on my period, I am a different human being.
Question for you. And there will be a follow-up, so don't be mean. When did you realize when you were ovulating? Like when did you know, oh, this is my like the week or whatever. Is it a week of me ovulating?
You know what the really embarrassing thing is? I don't feel like I understood the full kind of phases of my cycle until maybe a few years ago.
Well, yeah, like that's what I'm about to say. I had no idea.
Talked about. It was like you have PMS, you don't have your cycle, you're just ultimately trying not to get pregnant, and then you bleed. Like that's like what I thought the
way that we thought we could get pregnant at any moment.
Wild. And so this is a very nice segue actually, because I am currently not trying to get pregnant, but I am peeing on ovulation sticks.
A lot of sticks.
Very difficult to really kind of understand like the kind of ups and downs of my cycle. So back in December, I went to my naturopath who I've been seeing for like a year, and she's phenomenal. So she works at the same clinic as Ashlyn Lanigan, who we had on the podcast. And I truly just can't say enough about the experience I've had at this clinic. And I've been like working to optimize some things in my health, and like if an issue comes up, I kind of go to them. And I had been noticing that my cycle as a whole had been getting like a little bit shorter. Still normal range, but it's showing. And I was just maybe a little like, I'm wondering if this is going to affect my fertility. So in December when I saw her and we were doing kind of my normal rec for blood work, she was like, well, why don't we test for some of these markers? We'll test your, FSH, your follicular stimulating hormone, which basically, as far as I understand it, says how hard your ovaries have to work to stimulate to build follicles. And then we'll test your AMH as well, which is your an indication of your ovarian reserve. So I didn't go in December. I was gone. I was in a different planet. And one of them you have to do at a certain point in your cycle. So I did it recently, and Wednesday night, I was able to log into the portal where my results were and saw my results for my ovarian reserve and had what I think you could call like a breakdown. I called my mom, I called my sister, I called Meagan. Like I was in a really bad, I was just like, I can't have kids. I have no eggs left. And it was just like a very sobering, shocking thing, especially someone who wants to have kids, who went through fertility testing a few years ago and was basically talked out of freezing my eggs.
Yeah.
And so anyways, long story short, had a bit of a breakdown, did not recover, and like went into work on Thursday morning and like got into my office and was unpacking, and my poor director of finance came into my office and goes, "How's it going?" And I thought he could tell that like I was upset. And he just hit me at like the perfect moment, and I broke down into tears, and I just blurted out, "I can't have children." To which this poor man is just like,
how old is he?
I don't know. He's like 40s, 50s.
But not young. Like not younger than us.
No, yeah. He's older than me.
Okay.
And he was lovely. Like as kind as you could be in this scenario. Did I overreact? Yes. And so
you went to Google and you
I went
took
to
it
Google
as
and
the
ChatGPT,
Bible.
and it was like, you are dried up. Like it was a really brutal like day and a half. Anyway, so I messaged my naturopath, and which is like, can I get an appointment? Like when can I see you basically?
Yeah.
And so I was able to see her Friday morning, and we talked through my results. And to say that she made me feel better would be an understatement. Did she give me like false hope and all those things? No. But
Yeah.
she gave context to what some of these numbers mean. And basically what I walked away with was, listen, even if you have like lower ovarian reserves, she's seen plenty of people with low numbers there still have no problem getting pregnant, and people with really high reserves really struggle. It's one marker. And I probably should have said this at the beginning of the top of this dialogue, but if you're going through fertility challenges, like this might be a triggering conversation. I know hearing people talk about being too old to have kids is a very triggering thing for me. So I do apologize for not putting that at the top of this, but basically we've come up with a bit of a plan for me, some lifestyle changes, supplements that I can take to support my fertility over the next few months. And again, barring anything drastic, I think I am going to go forward with freezing eggs and embryos actually, which is a crazy development, but it feels good and right. And I feel there's so many things over the last like 6 years that I've done that like at first maybe I didn't think I was ready to, and then I did it because I just felt like it was the right next thing to do.
Yeah.
And I have that feeling again right now. So it'll be still a few months out, just getting some things like aligned, and but that's been probably one of the biggest developments in my life in the last like week or so. And thank God I was able to talk to her on Friday, because you came up for the weekend and I was able to actually be present, not me in my head the entire time, which was great.
Yeah. I mean, we still would have been fine. Like it kind of goes back to like, you can't help it if something like that happens. Like I mean, I don't go there so that you can entertain. I don't go to Ottawa so you can entertain me.
It's like dance monkey.
But no, I'm so happy that you were able to talk to her and like actually get some answers, because I don't know anyone listening to this who's, I'm sure if you're our age, you've had friends with fertility challenges or going through egg freezing or whatever it is. And it's just, as a friend, you're in sort of a helpless position, right? Because none of us are experts, and you can be there for your friend, but I don't know what half of these things mean on like a
Which is crazy too, because you've also done the egg freezing. So it just shows like the lack of education that we even get around our own bodies
I'm,
and things like
super
that.
type B.
Fair. I like the thing that makes me a little bit nervous about sharing this, and I'll be like extra vulnerable right now, is like there's a very real chance that like going through all of these, trying to freeze my eggs or freezing embryos and things like that, it may not work. Like, and there's a vulnerability in sharing that, because I'm very much the type of person to be like, I only want to share something if it works and if it goes well. And I feel really confident that regardless right now, it's important to talk about it so that other people maybe feel less alone, because it feels like if you're going through any sort of like fertility issue or obstacle, it's like a taboo thing to talk about. And my about there was very Canadian. But yeah, that's my update. So I'll do my best to keep you guys as updated as possible as I feel comfortable talking about things. It may not be immediate, but and it'll still be a few months from now, but I'll do my best even like on my own to document my journey, like starting now, and be able to share it at some point. So
I wish I had done that.
yeah,
I think you'll really, I wish that I had, because I have a couple of, I have one person in my life who's going through egg freezing right now, and she's been asking me a lot of questions, and I'm like, I truthfully don't remember.
Yeah.
Like I'm struggling to remember things. And I think, especially for you, I think you'll love looking back on that. And I think that this is also, I agree with you. It's very vulnerable when you don't have the control over something to talk about something and then know that there's the chance that it doesn't work out the way that you're hoping. But I almost feel like this is a type of manifestation. You're putting it out into the universe. And I agree that women need to talk about this stuff, which is sort of why we're talking about the topic
the stuff
today,
we're going to talk today.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that would be a nice transition, but I don't want to
let's just
I feel
go
like
there. Let's just go there.
You don't want to talk about anything?
I mean, I had a supper club.
Love that. We also had a lovely weekend together.
And we had a great weekend together. We need to tell everyone what that was about, because I gave like a super cryptic photo or like changes coming soon on our Instagram. But everyone I've talked to, by the way, they saw pictures of me holding your sister's daughter, Maya. And they're like, you looked amazing. I was like, they're like, did Nicole do your makeup? And I was like, no, I did my makeup. And they're like,
you
really?
did. I literally came out. I was like halfway through getting ready, and I was like, what did you use on your face? No, you are so talented with the makeup. And I was like, what did you use on your face? Can I borrow this? I was like rummaging in your makeup kit. Like,
this is new for us as a dynamic.
No, I feel like you always have good shit that I rummage through when I'm staying at yours.
No, I have good shit, but the skill to use it is different.
I feel like it's not a matter of skill for you. I feel like sometimes you're just like, I don't want to.
Yes, but I think that's why my skill is lower, if you catch my drift. Like, because I basically don't, you know what I mean? I don't feel self-conscious about it. Nicole is the person that we all go to because we're like, she's super good at doing makeup.
It's my happy place.
I feel like I've gotten better. Nicole did do my hair. That's an area that I'm not quite as seasoned at.
Any excuse to use my air wrap, man.
Oh, it was great. It was great. I would never use it. We talked about this. Like, there would be no point in me getting it. But the Dyson Airwrap is pretty cool.
Elite. Yeah.
But no, basically what we did is, so I went up to Ottawa. I took the 6:30 a.m. train on Friday, which was quite rough. But I was so proud of myself. I brought my own coffee, which for anyone who like travels normally all the time, like takes trains and stuff before shops open, it's probably not that exciting. But I was like, wow, I just feel so like accomplished for bringing my own coffee.
Isn't Tim Hortons open at 6?
No, it doesn't. Well, not in the Union Station. I would have had to like go somewhere else.
Oh.
Which I wasn't prepared to do at that time.
Understandably.
Yeah. But anyways, got into Ottawa. And that evening we spent a couple of hours with the traders on in the background, planning out our outfits because we wanted to have options. So I like threw so much shit into a suitcase and we kind of played dress up for 2 hours on Friday afternoon.
For
evening.
reference, when you said I threw so much shit into it when we were talking before you left, I thought you were going to bring like a regular size suitcase. Do not be fooled. She still got everything into a carry-on size suitcase. So it's not like she was packing her entire wardrobe. Okay.
That's true.
I am a perpetual overpacker.
Yeah.
Last time, or I think our first photo shoot we ever did, I had my largest suitcase filled to the brim.
Yeah, you did. Oh my gosh, you did.
Yes. Heavy as shit. Anyways, we did a full like try on movie montage vibes, picking out outfits. We had notes, a Pinterest board. We had a plan.
It was pretty great.
Yeah.
And then Saturday morning we went into a studio, and Nicole's sister is a great sort of like she's learned how to take amazing photos.
Yeah, she's a great photographer.
Great photographer. Why couldn't I not come up with that word? That was wild. The extent to which I longed that out. And yeah, the photos from what we've seen, really good. I figured out how to smize.
Huge accomplishment.
Which was really fun. And then we got to hang out with
Maya.
Adorable little girl for several hours.
She's a sweetie pie. Yeah, and then we went to dinner with our friend Kelly. Claire came over before for a drink, which was great. And then you took off Sunday morning.
Fun.
Carly, I've not seen the photos yet, but she's made comments that they're pretty great. So I'm very excited to see them.
I can't wait to see them. We'll release like a few to Instagram once we've got a few
Ideally
to show you guys.
Because let's just say we did the studio and then we went back to her house. And we're like, we maybe in our heads beforehand, we're like, we'll still have the stamina to do this. Did not. We started getting into our crazies, and there was a thing in bed. And like, I don't think the vision
you have
translated.
to explain. When you say the thing in bed, it sounds weird.
We got into bed.
We got into Carly's
fully
bed.
clothed. But like, there was like a vision of like originally having like bathrobes and like hair towels. Didn't do that.
We didn't do that.
Were we wearing sunglasses? Yes. Were we drinking bubbly? Yes.
In champagne glasses.
Did we have a rotary phone? Yes. Did this always work? No.
Oh my gosh. We had your mom sort of creative directing the shoot as well.
Yeah,
and Carly,
she was so excited.
her sister just kept going, we're losing the models, which just like sent me, like fucking killed me.
She's
like,
so
we're
funny.
losing the model. She's so fucking funny. And never in my life have I been a model. I was texting my Italian boyfriend afterwards, and I was telling him about Carly, and I was like, man, this life is exhausting. He's like, you've been doing it for one day. Like, you're good. And I was like, no, this is so tiring. Not for me. I can't do it.
Or like, this is why people have teams around them.
Oh my God.
Anyways, stay tuned, guys.
You'll like them, I think. They're funny.
Yeah. So, I mean, now that we've spent 20 somewhat minutes.
Shit. Yeah.
Updating on our lives, all worth it. All good stuff.
Hopefully you enjoyed.
I think we get into like the meat of the episode and the purpose. So do you want to tee this up, or do you want me to tee this up?
You tee it up.
Okay. So we had, before Christmas, sat down and talked about different things that we could talk about. And similar to me coming clean about where I'm at in my fertility journey, Megan's like, I have something in my life that I could probably talk about that I haven't yet. And we had kind of had a conversation of maybe this is the right time to do it. So, and to kind of like TLDR of it is you have been on a GLP-1 for the last 8 months.
Yeah.
And so we're going to talk about your journey on it. A GLP-1 commonly people will, reference Ozempic. You're on Wegovy, which is basically exactly the same thing, just a different brand, and something that's a lot more common here in Canada. So why don't you kind of like to set the scene of this, and we'll go through kind of the full journey. I'm going to take everyone on a trip with us, if you will.
She's taking us on a journey.
I want to know, prior to this even coming into your peripheral vision as something for you, what were your initial thoughts or feelings around GLP-1s?
How do I get myself some of that? Honestly. So to be slightly more vulnerable here, I have always struggled with my weight. Like literally since I was a competitive figure skater. I've also massively struggled with, and actually I won't even dive into the way I just framed that up. Like I've struggled with the size that I am. Like I don't think that I definitely wasn't an unhealthy weight as a competitive figure skater. I was like super athletic. And then I think as my lifestyle, so when I went away to university, as my lifestyle changed and I was going out a lot more, I was like eating a lot of fast food. I was not necessarily taking care of my body. I put on quite a bit of weight and didn't really want to look at it as like I just was like, oh, that's not really something that I feel like I can deal with, because in the past I'd had so many body image issues that I just did not want to deal with that. And then I think in my 20s and in my early 30s, I did so much work to feel more comfortable in my skin in whatever size body that was. So I definitely fluctuated in weight over the last 15 years. But yeah, I really, really struggled with feeling like my body was impeding my ability to be as active as I wanted to be, impeding my self-confidence.
Yeah.
And I think when I realized that this was something happening in the world, I was like, wow, is that something that I could benefit from? But didn't really know, and honestly didn't consider it as a real option until speaking to my doctor.
So how did that conversation go? Was that something that you approached your doctor about? Was that something that they raised? Like, what was kind of the catalyst for the decision to start exploring this?
So it was kind of interesting because I went to my doctor like over a year ago. It was probably like a year and a half ago. And he was like, you need to lose some weight because you are, I'll just put it all on the table. He was like, you have a fatty liver, and that is typically to do with like belly fat a lot of the time. Like it has to do with that. It has to do with your BMI being higher. And that can be concerning further down the line. So it's sort of an early marker from a health perspective of like needing to look at your diet and needing to look at your weight or your BMI. And I also know so many people have feelings about BMI, and like, not that I feel like I should have to say this at this point, but like, I'm not a doctor, I'm not an expert. Yeah. I'm just talking about my opinion.
And also your journey.
Yeah. And my journey. But basically that was his recommendation. So I don't think he particularly handled this that well, but he basically just sent me like a few articles about like a Mediterranean diet, and was like it was like so impersonal. Sort of the way that he handled it was just kind of like, try eating healthier. And I actually eat, like I was eating, other than I would say drinking more than maybe the average person on the weekend with friends.
Yeah.
I eat really healthy during the week. Like I was having a smoothie for breakfast, like a sandwich for lunch. I was not a big snacker. I've never been a huge snacker. And then like relatively healthy. Like obviously I do like Thai takeout once a week, but like, you know, fish or lean meat, vegetables, like pasta, like pretty healthy. So that didn't really resonate that much with me. And I was sort of left feeling like, okay, I'm not going to like do something drastic, because I don't feel like I should have to do anything drastic.
Yeah.
So I scheduled another call with him and just asked the question. I basically said, from what I've been reading, it looks like a GLP, like I might be a good candidate for a GLP-1. And he was like, oh, interesting. Yeah, you would be. I was like, thanks for
recommending, bud.
Thanks for recommending that. But to be fair to him and to give him the benefit of the doubt, I mean, it's so new. So
Yeah.
like, you know, maybe he wasn't prepared or he wasn't thinking in that frame of reference. But anyways, yeah, I was, as it turns out, a really good candidate because my lifestyle, I already worked out 3 or 4 times a week. I ate pretty healthy and I just couldn't shift weight that I personally wanted to shift.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting a prescription. I actually go through Felix. If anyone's in Canada, I find it very helpful. You get assessed and you get blood work done every 3 months. But yeah, I've been doing it now for 8 months.
When you received your requisition and were like, okay, I'm going to go and, you know, go down this path, what were your thoughts at that point? Like around telling people, were you harboring any different kind of emotions? Were you excited? Like what was your state of mind at that point?
It was kind of weird. I felt like I had a really hard time telling people, which people might think that's shocking or like interesting because I'm such an open book. But I basically did all of this on my own, and kept it a secret until I got the requisition and was going to go pick up the GLP-1 and then was like, oh my God, like I'm doing this like big thing and this is quite scary. And, you know, you're reading through the side effects and you're reading through, like, I had a really hard time telling people. Obviously I ended up doing it and I did end up like calling Cole and like calling a few of my close friends, but I felt so much like I was cheating. Like I just felt like I had spent so much of my life oscillating between you do not need to lose weight. You're beautiful in whatever body you choose to be in, which I absolutely agree with. But also feeling like I wish that I felt different in my body. And I wish that I could lose weight. And trying to sort of reconcile these two things. And this felt like an avenue of, wow, this is like the easy way out. You know, it felt like people were going to judge me for it, for sure. Mainly because I think the problem was I was judging myself.
Yeah. And I feel like I remember vividly when you told me. And you're normally so confident and so self-assured, and you were so sheepish to even like broach the subject. It felt very, it felt like almost you felt like you were doing something wrong.
Yeah,
on the receiving end of that phone call.
I sort of did. And it was like, I remember Nicole saying to me, you know that like you don't have to tell people, right?
No.
Like you don't owe
nothing.
anyone that. Like you know, that's a conversation between you and your doctor. Like you don't owe people an explanation. And that like floored me. I was like, wait, you're right. In my mind, it felt like, I think because I felt like it was a cheat code, I needed to explain myself to people is sort of where that was coming from.
Yeah. And I want to also preface by saying, as it relates to like this episode, this isn't an episode about weight loss or making people think that like you have to lose weight. This is an episode of a decision that you've made for your health, just for you, really at the end of the day. And the experience you've had with it to, again, like everything else we talk about on this podcast, pull down barriers so that other women don't feel maybe the same feelings that you had prior to starting or even as you were starting and feeling maybe more isolated.
Yeah, thanks for saying that because this is like one of the huge issues with GLP-1s is one of the things my selfish desire to be on one, not that that's bad, but my desire to be on one didn't allow me to really think about this before. But one of the challenges of what's going on with GLP-1s right now is that there does seem to be this move back into an obsession with thinness in pop culture, in celebrity culture. And you see this with, I think lots of celebrities now. You're like, wow, like how is this happening? And so there are moments where I do really feel like I'm part of that problem of like not celebrating everybody for what it is and what it looks like and the diversity of people's experience in their body. Like, I am not here saying people need to be thinner. That is like not at all the takeaway.
It's about health.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that looks different on different people.
Exactly. Like
it's
health
not a
is not
prescribed
being thinner.
output.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Did you have any fears in starting Ozempic beyond the perceptions, or like you said, I would be quote unquote part of the problem? Did you have any perceptions of what getting on Ozempic might do to you or make you become?
Yeah. I mean, I was worried. I was very worried about, because in the past I've had a really bad relationship with scales. And I had to weigh myself. I mean, some people weigh themselves like once a day. I didn't do that, but like once a week I weigh myself, because you really do need to make sure that you're not losing too much weight too quickly, because that can have an impact on your muscle mass. That can have like really negative impact. So I wanted to make sure that I was losing weight at a reasonable pace. And so I was quite concerned about how looking at a number on a scale was going to impact my like mental health or my body image. And actually what's really interesting is it's had the adverse effect. Like I find I care so much less about, whereas I used to be terrified to get on a scale, like absolutely terrified.
Do you think to some end, and again, I'm leading the patient here down my line of questioning, but do you think that in some ways, I mean, I've heard from so many other people that with going on a GLP-1, it quiets food noise. Do you think that it also quieted the little voice in your head around like body dysmorphia or attaching certain numbers to like a certain importance in your journey?
I think a little bit, yeah. And it's so interesting too, because I don't know, some people say it's super drastic, like the feeling of like quieting the food noise. I found it to be a lot more, it was like a slow loss of that. And so I think sometimes it's harder to catch that it's happening. But I do feel it now for sure, that like, I feel like I can see things maybe a little bit more clearly in that regard.
What has been your experience since getting on the GLP-1? So in your relationship with food, your appetite, like physically, what's been that experience like?
It was hard at first, for sure. Like I found like my stomach was, I won't go into graphic detail, but my stomach was not happy. I was quite nauseous for the first month, I would say. I really couldn't drink. I mean, talk to any of my friends who like, I would have like 2 pints, which to me, like I'd be like out at a pub in the afternoon, slowly have like lunch and a couple of pints. And I would like need to go home because I would feel like very like drunk. Like
ill,
I would, like ill, like not good. So that was weird. And so it definitely, in some ways, like sort of forced me to have a healthier lifestyle. I don't know. This is the interesting thing though, is like, I haven't really changed my lifestyle that much in terms of eating. Like I still eat very similarly. I prioritize protein more than I would have previously, but I just eat less. Like I eat until I'm full and then I stop eating. Whereas before, because it's about the like taste of the food. Like I love food. I love food so much, but I don't feel the need to this like insatiable desire to keep eating.
I would say too, even just like as a friend of yours, who's like, if I was to say the biggest difference I've noticed is when you're full, you're full.
Yeah.
And you're very good at like putting something down. And like I've even noticed that in like we were having Greek food Friday night and you're like, I'm full. And it feels less of a, you know, I'm on a diet, I shouldn't eat anymore, and more of a, no, I'm really confident that I've had enough.
Yeah.
It almost breeds like a self-assurance quality that as it relates to your eating, you just feel very certain of.
Yeah. And I do think you really have to watch yourself. Like I say that I haven't changed the way that I eat because I truthfully feel like I was eating quite healthy before this.
Yeah.
Do I occasionally have McDonald's? Of course. But like Saturday. But I do still crave the same food. I just prioritize I prioritize the protein and the vegetables slightly more because I'm not trying to fill up on like rice, bread, like all the things that like I just would eat sort of mindlessly.
Yeah.
Like chips. Chips is a crazy thing. I will now have, like that Lay's slogan of like, bet you can't eat just one. I will now have like a few chips. I'm not even joking you. I'll go to my cupboard and be like, oh, I just want a little salty hit. I'll have like 4 or 5 chips and I'm good. As like a little snack, not as like a meal. But it's amazing. Like I could never have done that before because I would just mindlessly, I would be like at my desk thinking about what I could eat next. And then I would wait and wait and wait because I'd be telling myself I can't eat that. And then I would eat the whole bag.
Yeah.
So it's just a very
crazy.
different, it's just a very different experience.
Aside from the appetite and the food directly, how do you feel? Like, do you notice a difference in how you're carrying yourself and your maybe even like emotional state now versus 8 months ago and beyond?
Yeah, there's so much that they don't know about GLP-1s too, which I find really interesting. Like it is relative to a lot of other things that many people are on. It is very new. And on that point of like mental health and whatever, like I do feel quite level on a GLP-1. And I don't know if that has to do with the GLP-1. I don't know if it's just that I'm feeling better in my own skin. And so that has something to do with it. But like, I do wonder about that sometimes, if it has any impact. I feel so much better just buried the lead. I feel so much better. I feel I feel more confident. I feel way more confident in what my body can do, which is quite cool. Like I work out more than I used to because I love working out now. And like, I feel like I'm building muscle mass and that's really exciting too. Like I can like, I really love being active in a way that I didn't want to be maybe as much before being on the GLP-1. And I think this weekend is a perfect example of me feeling better. Like I got quite nervous, not like super nervous, but I don't know. I don't love being in front of a camera. Like it's not my natural
working it.
Yeah. Because I felt so much more confident in myself. Like I was like, I feel very in my own skin. Like I feel like I like these outfits. I'm feeling myself. Whereas I remember just the level of anxiety I felt in the last round of photos that we'd taken. I was like, oh God, I just hope that like, I don't see something that I don't like when we looked at the photos. And of course you inevitably do because you always find something, like, but I did walk away from that photo shoot being like, on Saturday, being like, just because I see something that maybe there's like a stomach roll in one of them that I don't like or whatever, like I know who I am. Like I feel confident in what I look like.
Yeah.
And I don't feel so attached to that as like a marker of whether or not I look good because I feel better in my own skin.
I love that. Is there anything in the last 8 months that has surprised you along this journey?
So I would say that there's been an impact to dating in the sense that I get more likes now, which is so fucking annoying.
Do you
And like,
have you changed your profile though? Like,
yeah, they're like newer pictures.
okay.
Not all of them, but most of them are newer pictures. And I don't know, I've seen some people on TikTok talk about this who've been on GLP-1. It doesn't mean the quality, like, it doesn't mean like I'm meeting way more men.
Yeah.
It means that like it shows that men are frankly shallow and annoying, and like that's a whole thing. So I wouldn't say that it's changed my dating life, but like that my hinge has changed in the sense of like the volume of likes that come through. But the way that it has changed my dating life is if I go on a date and it's not a match, I don't immediately think it has something to do with the way I look. Because that was all I thought about before, was like, if it wasn't a match, even if I didn't like the person, I would assume that there was something. Yeah, I would assume there was something wrong with my body.
Yeah.
Because I had a problem with my own body image.
Yeah. You know, I'm a woo girl. And woo, not like a woo, but like a woo witchy, howl at the moon kind of girl. But I'm such a big believer in energy. Do you think the increase in likes you're getting is entirely based on your profile? Or do you think to some extent maybe the energy you're approaching, even being on the dating apps yourself, that or like the energy you're putting into the world might also have something to do with it?
Yeah, I think that you're probably right. I think also, you know, what we just talked about in terms of the way I was feeling at the photo shoot, if I'm having my photo taken, I just feel more confident now. So that's showing up in the photo, and that confidence is obviously attractive, right? Like, you know, anyone's confidence is attractive. So I think you're right.
In day-to-day life, I feel like you have more confidence.
Yeah.
And as your friend who's known you for, 16 years, it's like, it's you just seem lighter, like emotionally and like energy wise. And I still stand by what I told you when you first told me you do not owe anyone anything. It is your journey, your story. You write the rules. You bring in who you want to bring in. But I do think to some extent talking about this is so important because it helps to destigmatize it. And maybe also it may not be for everyone. Like,
yeah.
But maybe if you're feeling maybe the same way that Meagan was feeling about all of this, maybe it's worth a conversation. Maybe there's different options for you out there that, this isn't the right move. But I think the reality is when you prioritize yourself, when you investigate options you want to take, and you do it in a intentional and balanced and thoughtful approach with you in mind first and foremost, you're never going to go wrong.
Yeah.
Like putting you first is always so critical. What is the plan from here? You hear people talk about GLP-1s and, the fear of stopping them and, reducing dosages and things like that. Have you had a conversation with your doctor around what your longer term plan is?
No, not yet, because I haven't reached sort of where I want to reach.
Fair.
But we've talked about like reducing for sure. There's also there's just so much new research coming out all the time.
Yeah.
Of like, it's sort of in the same way that I'm on an anti-anxiety medication, and I don't foresee a time in my life where that's, as of right now, I don't foresee a time in my life where I don't want to be on an anti-anxiety medication. there is more coming out about sort of reducing, but remaining on a GLP-1 as like, so not at the same level, but sort of maintaining that. And so I'm going to explore every option with obviously a medical professional in terms of like what makes the most sense for me. But I will say it's not, for me, it's not just about weight loss. Like, I do think that there are other benefits. Like, I am a happier person with the lack of food noise in my life. I am a happier person. And yes, I've had to learn how to moderate the amount I'm eating and all of those things. And those are skills that I will take forwards. But do you know how hard it is to rewire your brain?
Like, deeply, deeply difficult.
I am not, and you know this, I'm so open. Like, if there is a world where I can have help to feel better long term, I will take that route. So do I know what I'm going to do? No. And I will like make sure people are aware now that I've talked about this on the pod. But like, I don't really know what that looks like. And I will explore kind of what that looks like as I, oh my God, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. It's a work in progress. I'm not sure.
100%. I think that's fair. I'm so happy you broached the subject about wanting to talk about this. And I think that's such a powerful place to be about something very vulnerable. And I think it's good that we waited till now as well to discuss your journey, because it's given you enough runway to figure out how it works for you and, you know, the effects. But I really just think that was, and hopefully going to be helpful to so many people. This may not be the right path for everyone, and that's totally okay.
Of course. Yeah.
But it's a path. And I think your journey and your intention in going into it and really surrendering to it is really commendable.
Thank you. And if people have questions for me, I mean, not medical questions, because I won't be able to answer those, but about my perspective on like the experience, and you want like the gory details, I'm more than happy to respond to DMs or anything. So hit us up. Yeah.
This was great. Thanks so much, Meg.
Thank you. You're such a good little moderator.
I was like very confident in what I was going to ask you today. I felt very good about it.
Good.
So is there anything else you want to give to our listeners before we say adieu?
No, I don't think so. I think this was not on my bingo card. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Don't you love when people say, no, there's nothing else, and then they say something like immediately after?
There's nothing more on brand for this podcast than that. Yes.
No, I don't think so. But also, but no, it wasn't really something that I foresaw for myself. And I'm really glad that I took the leap. So I would say, if you're even just like remotely curious, talk to your doctor.
Yeah.
And weigh the pros and cons and weigh up what you want for yourself. But yeah, I wouldn't, don't discount anything, I guess is what I would say. Just keep being curious.
I think that's the best mantra that anyone can have at this decade and time in their life, is just don't ever stop being curious.
We'll talk to you guys next week.
Au revoir.
Bye.